Okay, let's jump in, folks. We have a full show for you today. We want to jump in. I want to welcome all of you here this morning. I'm Scott Thompson, or to most of your kids, I'm known as Mr. T. And we are excited to be here. And I'm pretty honored that the grads asked me to be your MC for today for Bow Valley High School's 20th high school graduation. It is so awesome to be back live and in person. It's very, very exciting to have that energy in the room again. The school has done awesome jobs in the last couple of years to adapt and to pivot, but we're excited to have all of you here together. And also to our millions of fans around the world that are viewing online and on stream, we welcome you. I think it's like pay-per-view, so it should be quite good. So let's jump in. Before we really launch, we want to read Rocky School's land acknowledgement. And I want to say that these are some great steps, some great work that's been done at Bow Valley High School this year to decolonize education. And this is just one small step towards the path towards truth and reconciliation. Our land acknowledgement. Rocky Schools acknowledges and recognizes all the Indigenous peoples whose footprints have marked these lands from time immemorial. Together, we can learn and honor the ways of knowing of Indigenous people and all people for future generations. Preparing for our grads today, we've been telling them it's actually not all about them. Okay, that might not have felt that way this morning as you got ready in the hurly-burly that's been in the last week or so, but we did try to let them know and understand that it's actually not about them entirely. It's about you, parents, grandparents, extended family members who have supported them over the last 12 years of education. And for me, it's an honor to have met some of you over the last few years and kids I've taught previously and grandparents. It's just awesome to do that. You have guided your kids through school drama, and I don't necessarily mean the class. I think by your chuckles, maybe you understand what I'm talking about. You've also done math together at the kitchen table. You've worked on school crafts and projects until the wee hours of the morning. You've been there through hundreds of hours of football games, band concerts, fundraising drives, field trips, and more. And we want to recognize and thank you for the great work you've done to get your kids here to this day. But coming to think of it, maybe you're just happy that they're done and you get some of your life back. I don't know. I don't want to judge. But regardless of your motivation and where you're at today, to some extent, the diplomas being handed out today belong to much to you as it does as much to them. So on behalf of my colleagues that are come in shortly, I want to say thank you. Thanks for the privilege. It really is a sacred honor to work with your sons and your daughters and for the role that you have played in what we're celebrating here today. But before we proceed, it does seem like there's a few empty seats and a few people that are missing. So I think we're going to add some people here in the mix in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me in welcoming my colleagues and a group of inspiring heroes, the staff of Bow Valley High School. The students always clap when they come to the room, so they're very used to that. One more round of applause. Awesome. As they kind of get themselves seated there, it's a good-looking bunch. And I do think Mr. Richard might actually be wearing pants today, which is like the first time or second time this whole year, so that's awesome. Before we proceed, I kind of heard a few dings and bings along the way. The Majesty music is going to start here in a second. We'll kind of cue you in on that. A couple things you need to know. So can you please shut off or silence your phones, your tablets, your fax machines, whatever you have with you today. We want this to be an awesome experience and not to be any distractions. Shut off your notifications for Facebook, Snapchat, Pinterest, TikTok, whatever's going on. And if I'm being honest, it's actually mostly for Mr. Millions and Mrs. West. If you could do that, as well as for the rest of you, please. I know for a fact, as we were here this morning, that I'm sure our grads are getting a little restless outside as Mrs. Aldi tries to wrangle them in. In a moment, here's what's going to happen. They're going to walk in. It's going to take a few minutes. This is our largest graduation class we've had to date. When they come in, you'll stand, and then you'll remain standing for when we sing O Canada. Okay? So now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the 2022 graduation processional led by Mrs. Chantel Templeman and Mr. Craig Lucas, our graduates of 2022. All right, one more round, one more round. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, Megan, can you come on up? All right, at this time, you graduates, you may rise to join us, please. And Megan Crossland, who's going to come and sing the national anthem. Those of you, totally. And then to all of our younger fans, she's better known as Elsa from Frozen. It's all you. Awesome, awesome. We were teasing her that she might break into singing Frozen or Let It Go at some point. You got to pay extra for that, and maybe that's this afternoon, I'm not sure. Thanks, Megan. Before we proceed any farther, a couple people we need to recognize, some honorable guests. They're all sitting up front over here. Rocky Schools trustee for Cochrane, board chair, and perhaps today the most important role is mom and parent, Fiona Gilbert. Let's give them a round of applause. From Rocky Schools, Superintendent Greg Luderbach. They were calling you the big boss the other day. They're like, is the big boss? I said, yep, the big boss will be there. So then Bearspaw First Nation Council Member Anthony Bearspaw. Not able to attend today, but sending his regards is Cochrane Mayor Jeff Janung. And of course, Principal of Bow Valley High School, Mr. Jim Riley. You can sign autographs later, I guess. So thank you to our honored guests for being part of our ceremony today. We know you attend an awful lot of graduation ceremonies throughout the division, but we do appreciate your attendance here. And we're pretty sure this is going to be your best one yet. So, graduates, we made it. No small feat. Not a bad looking bunch. It was good to kind of chat with a few of you this morning as you were lining up and we were practicing the alphabet and all those sorts of things. Colton Jaworski, I think you have your shiny cowboy boots on, am I right? Where are we, Colton? Okay, he's the last of the Jaworskis, so it's the end of a dynasty there. And if I'm not mistaken, I didn't quite see this morning, but I was told that Jamie Martin, you're not wearing pajamas today? Okay. Atta girl. Awesome. All dolled up in heels, so clearly today is a pretty special day. But before I do forget, there's a couple pieces of business we need to take care of. Tanner Jahardi, did he make it here on time today? First time for everything, that's good. I had a bet going with Mr. Lucas, so you can get your money from him. Graduates, welcome, and I hope you're settled in. We've got a great show for you here today. And you'll notice that you've been arranged alphabetically. And that was a bit of a challenge this morning, but we did okay. This does come in handy later on from when we get our diploma thing, but the real reason is actually it's for our entertainment. We want to know how long the three musketeers of Jazzy Trimming, Claire Salcedo, and Trisha Tagiam can be separated and apart from one another. I don't think I've ever seen them as individuals. They've only walked in triad, so we're glad that we're here. We'll see how that goes. The other reason is I want to know if AJ Neal knows where to go without Ella Wilcox telling him what to do exactly. Too close, AJ? Too close? Okay, sorry. Then also, so just so you know, so recently we were on a backpacking trip and Braylon Mann and Chloe McAvoy asked me, said, like, are you going to tease people at grad? Because when you don't, we're worried that things aren't okay with you. And we get nervous. So girls, I'll try to do my best. I have a reputation. I do promise, Mr. Luderbach, I'll keep it within the lines. I will behave myself. So, but seriously, what an incredibly diversely talented graduation class. And as I was thinking of preparing, we have award-winning artists like Paige White. Totally. So her artwork is on the brochure or the program that you had when you came in. We also have accomplished cartoonists like Rory Chapman. Jewelry makers like Xavier Abe, who's I'm getting some custom rings, so if you need to do that, here's a little business plug for Xavier, okay? We have talented and inspiring dancers like Fiona Goodman and Sarah Crossland. And we have scholars and gentlemen. And a few times I've sat down in the learning commons with them and sat down and thought, man, this is like some adult kind of deep conversation. I can't remember what existential questions we were talking about, but scholars and gentlemen like Alfredo Bracamonte, who really is Bow Valley's best dressed individual. But then also I think of James Vilstra and Joey Weston. What a great bunch to hang out with and chat with. We have Team Canada rugby level talent in Clover Taggart and Adam Swan. We have the smart and sassy people I think of as well, like Poppy Hyde and Paige DeVos. So the other day when we were going through to make sure we pronounce people's names properly, because I've been mispronouncing that name for 4 years, we said, hey, today we're gonna make it different, and she got very serious with me. Mr. Thompson, if you mispronounce my name, and I was like, okay. So I have learned that DeVos is the boss, is what I've learned in the last 48 hours. So we have remarkably funny and entertaining characters that make me and staff and your fellow grads laugh every time we hang out with them. And I think of people like Carter Cush. And I think about Carter McCaw or a Sam Lawrence. People that have literally made me cry as I taught or worked with them because they were so funny. I think of a Hayden Fuchuk. Or everybody's favorite Olaf Ardenloe. We then have quiet and competent servant leaders like Nate Carter and Gavin Roper. Leaders and change makers like Autumn Carr and Sophia Priest. And clearly we could go through all 207 of them, but I think you get the idea. We have a really rich, diverse, awesome group of kids. Graduates, 4 years ago you came into Bow Valley, wide-eyed, smelly, kind of clueless, and a little bit sticky at times. Funny because that's true. But many of you wandered around kind of lost in the hallways as you tried to figure out where your classes were, and where to go. What is this thing called the Dan, and that sort of thing. Now, come to think of it, some of you being lost, I think Gavin Lee, I had to help you to class just the other day. So, still happens. But today you're going to hear a few speeches, and each speaker will brandish some fancy quotes. They'll drop some names, tell an interesting anecdote or story, maybe even a cliche or two, all hoping to provide that last kernel of truth because of that one last thought that will echo through your minds from now until eternity. Kind of that Hollywood moment where you're like, oh, I remember that teacher said this during the speech and it changed my life. We're all aiming for that today. Because all of us look for the one last thing to teach you, because after all, we're all educators. And so it's with that in mind, we're going to turn to some of our guests who would like to share some words of wisdom with you. At this point, to bring greetings from Rocky View Schools Board of Trustees, I'd like to invite to the stage Mrs. Fiona Gilbert, please.
Well, thank you, Mr. Thompson. That was some awesome words, and it's so fabulous to be here today with all of you in person, face to face, and share in this time and share in this space here together and feel the excitement in the room. As I was watching you grads come on in through your marches, we're all clapping for you. Some of you were looking pretty solemn. It's pretty serious business, hey, this graduation, but I'm glad to hear some of the excitement in your cheers here this morning. I'm also glad that we can welcome people from near and far through the live streaming opportunity here that we have, so that we know that even with this largest graduating class of Bow Valley High School to date, that everybody who wants to can join in the celebration here today. We have so many things that we can be grateful for. So just a few short months ago, we did not know if this type of an event was going to be able to be possible. And really, through the sheer commitment of a dedicated team of Bow Valley High School staff, a student grad committee, and a parent grad committee, here we are today, celebrating all together. First this morning with this graduation ceremony and convocation, and then later this evening with a graduation banquet for families. That's awesome, absolutely. As the saying goes, it takes a village, and I am reminded time and time again what an awesome, great village that we have. So a huge thank you to everybody who had a hand in making today happen. So here we are, grads. It's graduation day, And this is a special graduation day for me, and it's not because it's the last one of the season, but as Mr. Thompson said, this is going to be the best one of the season. It's a special graduation day for me because as a mom of one of these grads, I have had the privilege, the honor, and the extreme pleasure of watching each and every one of you, all of you, grow throughout your school career into the strong, courageous, caring, awesome, and intelligent young people that you are. As I'm sure that many of the moms and the dads in the rooms can attest to, it seems probably just like yesterday, right? Where we dropped them off at kindergarten on their first day of school. Might have been at Glenbow, might have been at another school. And while it might feel like yesterday, I did a little bit of math, and it's actually 4,658 days ago. But who's counting? So many things have happened over these last 4,658 days, and really there's too many to reminisce about now. Mrs. Holliday made me promise to keep this under 3 minutes, so I can't go through all of those memories here today. So grads, here you are. 4,658 days since your first day of school, and just a handful more to go before your last. And I can only imagine what you might be feeling right now. Probably some joy, probably some sadness, definitely some excitement, maybe a little bit of fear, and I sure hope that there's lots of pride. Hold on to that last one tightly. Be proud of this accomplishment because you did it. No one else did it for you. Sure, your parents, yeah, they helped along the way. They prodded and they encouraged and they might have dragged you out of bed on 1 or 2 occasions to get you to school. But they were not the ones going to school, navigating the hallways, sitting through the classrooms in person and online, completing the assignments and writing the tests and exams. Yep, your teachers, they helped you too. They nudged and they reminded you probably many times over to get the work done. But it wasn't them doing the actual research, writing the essays, or handing in the work. It was you. You did this, so be proud of your accomplishment. So with your high school diploma in your hand, I am happy to tell you that you now have everything that you need, most of which you actually learned in kindergarten and have spent the last 4,658 days practicing curiosity and kindness and empathy, courage and wonder. So wherever your path leads you, hold on to these things, find your passion, and do good. And remember, as you go out into the world, remember this village. Remember your village. Because we are all here for you. On behalf of the Rocky View Schools Board of Trustees, all the best for continued success in the next steps of your journey, wherever they may lead you. Family, friends, staff, and guests, please join me in congratulating the Bow Valley High School class of 2022.
Thank you, Fiona, for the personal and heartfelt message. It's great to have those connections to our school. At this point, from the Office of the Superintendent, Rocky View School Superintendent, Mr. Luderbach, would you come to the stage, please?
Just need to clarify a few things before we get started here. As you can see, I'm neither big, nor am I really the boss. So it is my pleasure to be here today, and I'm certainly glad Chair Gilbert was between me and Mr. T, because I pity the fool who has to go after him. So grads, that's a joke back to a TV show in the 1990s. Sorry, okay, I digress. Welcome dignitaries, families, staff, but most importantly, Bow Valley High grads. Today is about you, and it's my honor to share some greetings on behalf of the staff of Rocky View Schools. Now, I am going to go down a trip down memory lane and fit within my 3-ish minutes-ish. So for most of you grads, public school began back in kindergarten, as you heard, in the fall of 2009, 4,568 or so days ago. And you might have walked into kindergarten, you were rocking your Alvin and the Chipmunks t-shirt. You might have had your Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs lunch bag with you. And you rolled in and you were ready to take on the world. And look at you now. In kindergarten, if you were lucky, you got to go to the theater for maybe your birthday party, and you went to see Toy Story 3, the best movie of that year and maybe of all time. I'm a little biased. And actually, believe it or not, you might have a hard time believing this because I did. By the end of grade 1, Snapchat was actually invented. And at that point, I'm pretty sure you were ready for a phone. But us big people, we weren't so sure to hand over a $1,000 device to a 6-year-old. So we made you wait. But now it's interesting because things have come a little full circle. Now I can guarantee you none of the grads need caller ID for the parents in the group because they know if their parent is reaching out to them by one of two ways. One, you texted them. None of their friends text anymore. Or two, heaven forbid, you actually phoned them. Hello? Yes, they've moved on. Texting, telephone, that's for us boomers. That's not for them. And when they got into grade 8, fast forward to grade 8, TikTok was invented and started to take up steam. And again, this one's for you grads. Grads, it's probably time to move on beyond TikTok. Again, for the same reason. Us boomers are using that, so you need to find something new. It seems forever ago, 4,568 days ago. But look at you now, you've come a long way. Along the journey, you've made new friends, you've had countless teachers, you went on field trips, participated in teams and performances and concerts, and probably not as many as we had hoped given the last 2.5 years, but you did it. You endured a global pandemic. You've been online, back in school, online, back in school. You know the drill, you lived it. And somehow, you managed through all of that to meet the graduation requirements. Well, for a few of you, we'll see how June goes, right? You got it, I know you do. Nonetheless, over the last 2.5 years, you've had a journey quite different than any of your older siblings did. If families were in this very church years ago, their child didn't do that ping-ponging and dealing with online. But through that, you developed a resilience, something that's going to make you unique and special, that you're going to have to leverage over these next coming years. And you've just about made it. Now, here's the audience participation part for the grads. Grads, how many of you have been sat down over the last maybe 6 months to a year and you had the in the real world conversation? Hands up today. How many people got the in the real world conversation? Hold them up proud. Okay, so families, there's not enough hands up, so you got some work to do over these next few weeks, right? Well, you're going to be ready to transition from a high school student to be part of the real world. And you're going to need to call upon the skills that you've been building over these last 13 years of school. But you know what? It's not going to be the facts, or the figures, or even those kind of general knowledge and skills that we've been teaching that's going to make the biggest difference in your life. It's going to be your ability to communicate, problem solve, and advocate for yourself. Those are the things that's going to be the biggest importance in your life. Now, these are skills that you're going to need to leverage, whether you're in the next stage of your life. And that might be, your next stage might be, you're going to school right away this fall or in a year from now, or whether you're going to the world of work right away, or you're going to travel the world, or if you're just going to hang out in your parents' basement for the next foreseeable future. Now, families, don't laugh too much, because you too will get to practice problem solving, communicating, and advocating for yourself if your kid's choice is to hang out in your basement for the foreseeable future. Grads, you're not alone, though. You've heard about the village that is here today, and they're here to support you. Staff here and those unable to be here today are here to support you. Your community is here to support you. We're rooting for you, and we're here to help. But things are changing. It's gone from them making decisions for you to you making your own decisions. And along that way, you know what? You're going to screw up. You're going to not make the best decision. That's part of the real world. That's called life. But it's going to be about how you recover from those situations that'll really be important. I wanted you to encourage you to keep those options open, because part of being in the real world is changing your mind. Saying, whoops, that didn't work. Time to turn left. Mistakes and changing your mind is part of the real world. To all the RVS staff here today, thanks for everything you do to get the kids to this point. To our families here today, thanks so much. You were a big part, whether it was struggling through grade 10 math, which you swore you'd never want to do again after you got through it, and there you were at the kitchen table helping your child through grade 10 math again. Grads, over the next few weeks, please take the time to say thank you. Thank you to the staff. Thank you to your families, your irritating siblings, your grandparents who slip you $20 every once in a while, your extended family and friends, the bus driver, the school secretaries, the school staff, and even our school administrators. Some of you have got to know them quite well along the way. In closing, we are excited about what you're going to do, where your journey is going to take you, and we have optimism that what you have can make a difference in the world. And we need you to make that difference. The contributions you're going to be able to make, you've got lots of problems that we haven't been able to solve that we're counting on you to solve for us. Take care of each other, and welcome to the real world.
Thank you, Mr. Luderbach, for the authentic lessons. Mr. Luderbach is also a dad, so I think he speaks from some wisdom and experience there. At this point, Bow Valley High School's captain and preeminent author, Mr. Riley, will come to the stage, please.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Oh, and there's two. What I'd like to do is go back in time a little bit. And I hope some of you remember the first day we met 4 years ago in the den, where a not so young but new principal met a not so young but new group of high school students. And I told you I'd take your picture and would show it at grad. And there you are. And all the faces that are recognizable, sort of. All the changes along the way. The bright, eager faces. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for indulging me in that. Thank you for indulging me in that. That's one of my favorite things to do, is to look at the photographs from grade 9 through to grade 12 and see all the changes that happen. And the changes there, that reflects the lessons learned, the struggles, the wins, the losses, all the pieces that fit together and make you who you are now. I've heard life described as a puzzle that we piece together over the course of a lifetime. And this graduation, this is a milestone. This is a piece of that puzzle. This weekend is a chance for us to come together, pause, reflect, and put that piece of that puzzle into place. For some, the picture the puzzle is creating has already become clear. For others, only the edges are coming together. Regardless, for all, the journey is well underway, and the pieces are fitting together. This group is a special group for me. We started this journey at Bow Valley together. For any teacher, that type of group has a special place. You know, we struggle together, we learn what this den is all about, we learn those pieces together, we grow, we come together as a community. You're also a special group because these last couple of years have been unbelievable. There's really no other way to describe it. And as we meet here together, I have the sense that we've won. We've got through these struggles. We've come together, we've learned the lessons along the way. The lessons that I hear, that I see, lessons about the gift of time, the gift of community, not taking things for granted. I have the sense that this group, that you guys are going to be more connected than other groups. Quick story, in March when things opened up and we were meeting with the students to decide what we were going to do and how we were going to celebrate the graduation. Very clearly they said, the most important thing, Mr. Riley, is that all 208 of us are together. That we're all together in one place. And there was even one student who I won't name, Mr. Thompson, who said, you know, Mr. Riley, like, really, it's even more important that we're together. I don't even care if my parents come. I just want us all to be together. And again, grateful that we've been able to do that together. There's a cliche, and not to push too hard up against that cliche, but there's the cliche that the easy part is done. That you've had the support and all these people helping you, and now as you go into that real world, that's when the hard work begins. But I want to push back on that a little bit, because these last few years have really been anything but easy. And the lessons that you've learned and the things that you've taken and the reasons why you were all here have already put you ahead of the game, right? You've already learned, again, those important pieces, those lessons that you learned in kindergarten that has got us through that time and has kept us together. Again, a few things have already been mentioned, but I really think it's worth repeating. Grads, take a few minutes this weekend. Thank those who have helped you and supported you along the way. Family, all your teachers. Think back to that kindergarten teacher who welcomed you with love and caring on those first days. 4,874, 658, 8675, 309. Is that you? Thank all those people, coaches, friends, family, all the people that have helped you along the way. Reflect on those lessons learned and look forward to the lessons to come. I have a suggestion, a request for fellow staff, parents, family here today, those watching online. A couple of things I'd suggest you do this weekend as well. And the first is to pause, reflect, celebrate, enjoy. Then take a moment and thank this amazing class of young people for the lessons that they've taught us over the years. Thank them for holding us accountable to the high standards that they deserve. Thank them for the struggle. We're all better people for the struggles we've gone through together and the battles that we've won together. Class of 2022, thank you. We're proud of you. Thank you for getting us through this time, coming together and celebrating here. Be safe as you celebrate this weekend. You've already won Bow Valley. It's time to go on and conquer the rest of the world.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Riley. Math, there's some really good numbers that are being spouted out here. That's good. So one of our great traditions that I really like at Bow Valley High School is that we ask a former Bow Valley staff member who's moved on to another school to return and be our guest speaker. Today, our grads have asked for Tara Sly, and she's one of the great legends of Bow Valley High School and who's been a pillar of our school for the last 20 years and is part of the pantheon of greats who have left an indelible impression upon Bow Valley High School. Ms. Sly is now known as the Queen of Fireside Elementary, in her role there as the assistant principal. And I would welcome her to the stage today, but she tested positive on Thursday night. So, in very typical, hey, we're going to pivot and make this thing go, we had a long conversation with Ms. Sly on Thursday, and she has a pre-recorded message because she said, I need to make sure I speak to this group of grade 12s, and so I believe our tech people are going to play that for us now. Thank you.
Normally, I would say to you, good morning, 30s. However, today, it is good morning, esteemed colleagues and guests, parents and families, other celebrators, and most importantly of all, good morning, graduands, soon to be graduates. Please know that it is my absolute pleasure to be your guest speaker today. I am truly honored by this invitation, and my apologies that I cannot be there in person today. However, perhaps as Rocky View Schools Board Chair Fiona Gilbert says, there is a silver lining, as it is kind of fitting that last year, many of you learned with me in this exact space whenever we had to take a turn online together. Regardless, please know that I am there with you all in my heart and spirit to celebrate the amazingly wonderful and unique people you are, each and every one of you, on this very special day, graduation day. Mrs. Holliday kindly shared your grad quote with me, which, as you know, was from Jennifer Garner when she delivered a similar address to a class of graduates at Denison University. Fight for what makes you optimistic about the world. Find it, insist on it, dig into it, go after it. Without a doubt, I know this was the perfect choice for Bow Valley's class of 2022. Despite obstacles, quick twists and turns, changing COVID restrictions, and other various things that could have gotten in your ways the past 3 years, you all chose to show tremendous tenacity and resilience, acting with strength, courage, and optimism with every step. I hope you have no doubts that this is true, as it is a fact that I believe you are optimism in this world. Even those of you who have assured me in the past that you are realists and even pessimists or cynics at heart. I have seen the realities of how each of you chose the way in which you would shine your unique light into the world, exploring, questioning, wondering, adventuring, debating, and investigating for truth. After all, I witnessed Shakespeare in the park pivoting on a dime to film in the gym. Athletes still finding a way to come together with team spirit and pride, and leadership finding ways for us all to still come together as a community to celebrate and have fun as Bobcats. Further, I know that you will continue to make your marks and shine brightly as you strive to make our world a better place still to be, simply because you are in it. To paraphrase a very wise man, this year especially, you each took it upon yourselves in your own ways to restore our ability to come together as a community, roaring and spreading our Bobcat spirit in our school and into the larger community in tremendous ways. For many of you, the passionate pursuit of legacy that has been your trademark as a class shone so brightly. While it was my privilege to teach many of you over your first 3 years of high school, it has also been a truly remarkable experience watching how you have thrived with persistent spirit and genuine care this year, your last year of high school. Because of my new role at Fireside School, I was still able to watch grade 12 students come in to work with younger students and help them love the pursuit of physical education and fun. The powerfully incredible success of helping Hampers to support future Bobcats and their families and bringing back kindergarten kids in such a creative, meaningful way, not being deterred by anything. Truly amazing. Watching the rugby teams come in to practice, both going to zones while the girls' team is currently at provincials. To see so many of you share your passions with others in these endeavors and more in previous years, and from a different point of view this year, was truly heartwarming. Watching Frozen with all of the elementary students who were invited and hearing about the successes of Drama Festival, hearing about the magic of the music concert a few weeks ago and about the recent ODL trip to Lake Minnewanka is equally remarkable. I hope it is these memories and more that you take with you from your time at Bow Valley. Well, those and the memories of the friends and staff who connected with you and who care about you so very, very much. I hope you carry each of these things that are meaningful to you in your hearts, and that you never forget that once a Bobcat, always a Bobcat. So today you all sit here, ready to cross the stage with pride and grace, and ready to go into the wider world beyond Bow Valley and continue to shine. For some of you, it will be with your bright spirit, taking on any challenge head on and problem solving until you have a solution that is both thoughtful and meaningful. For others, it will be the amazing careers you've chosen as your focuses. And for still others, it will be through the continued pursuit of your passions of servant leadership, athletics, performance, art, and music, which you began to nurture in our school. My wishes for you are these: be happy, be hopeful, and be safe. Take care of yourselves and each other. And as Emily Dickinson said, I hope you never forget the power you each have within you, as hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. You have proven that to be true, honeys. And we can't wait to see and hear where your optimism, hope, and brilliance takes you next. Be brilliant, class of 2022, because you are. Congratulations on your graduation. And thank you for including me in this very special moment.
Awesome to have Mrs. Sly address us. Now, the highlight of any graduation ceremony is a valedictory address, where you actually get to hear from one of your fellow grads. The valedictorian is chosen from an outstanding group of candidates, and this year there was some phenomenal students who applied. The student is selected because of their academic achievement, contribution to school community, and because they really represent who Bow Valley is. And by tradition, that honored graduate selects a staff member to introduce them. So I'd like to call to the stage the ever loquacious Mrs. Holliday to introduce this year's valedictorian. Sure, give her a round of applause right away. It was awkward.
I have to fix this.
Oh, yeah,
It's
don't-
driving me nuts.
yeah. She's been dressing me all day here, so yeah, we're good. Those of you who know Mrs. Holliday, or if you don't, she's one of the firecrackers here at Bow Valley, and she brings frenetic energy and an unbridled creativity that is only rivaled by her care for kids. Mrs. Holliday.
Okay, I promise I'm going to try not to tear up. You did a really good job, Fiona. Good morning, guests, families, guardians, friends, staff, and of course, the Bow Valley class of 2022. Oh, just a sec. Hold on. I had a little inside help with this one. I have been gifted with the opportunity to introduce this year's valedictorian. He's an exceptional academic student, has perfect attendance, has won the citizenship every year so far, and is a genius when it comes to technical theater and more. Always thinking of the greater good and how what he does not only benefits him and the entire class. These are some of the incredible details that reveal the type of human being he is, which is second to none. Okay, I can't keep this on the whole time, just thought it'd be good for a laugh. Okay. He will be attending York University in computer science. Here is the last paragraph of the course description. Changing the world for the better, perhaps through artificial intelligence, data science, and other new fields of the future, requires more than purely a technical point of view. An awareness of the impacts on the world and our lives is a fundamental outcome. I'd say he's suited for it. But what I thought would be rewarding is to hear what some of the staff he has connected with over the years had to say about this remarkable young man. So I tasked them with 5 words or less blurb, because we were on a time limit, but what the heck. This was simply impossible, I was told. So, Mr. Lucas says, he is someone that you just know is going to achieve great things in life. But if all else fails, at least he can fall back on his secondary career, being a Bob Ross lookalike. Miss Galloway adds, he is the kind of student who brings a smile to your face, not just because of the pride you feel in watching his success, but also because his hair and panic rushing through the hallways are the endless source of comedy. But best of all, he always gets the joke. Mr. Yannick quips, the volume of his hair is proportional to his stress level cubed. And then there's Foch, who sees him for so much more than his hair. She said since grade 9, he has been the type of student that everyone looks up to and that staff will never forget. Not only is he an exceptionally talented and capable and intelligent young man, he is honorable and respectful of others. He is a technical wizard, has profound work ethic, and the largest heart. My takeaways of him over the past 4 years are definitely all of the above. However, over this year, I have seen an incredibly intuitive, strong, self-aware young man that beneath the frenzied laptop-carrying demeanor has an amazing ability to identify areas of growth, to challenge himself, to step out of his comfort zone and ask, what if? My wish for him is to continue asking what if, because you'll never know unless you ask. You are genuinely one of a kind. We can't wait to see where your what ifs take you. One quote that comes to mind when I think of this graduate is from Walt Disney. It's kind of fun to do the impossible. Please join me in welcoming to the stage your valedictorian, one of the kindest and best team players out there, Toby Carter.
For the record, I did get a haircut a couple days ago, so it's not as crazy as usual. So, we've made it to the last few pages of this chapter, and yeah, I'm just as surprised as all of you that the world hasn't imploded. I mean, I don't think any of us were expecting me to make it this far without losing my mind, but I did hold it together till calculus. The majority of us have been in school for a minimum of 13 years, kindergarten through grade 12. That's almost our entire lives. And in the next month, this chapter of our lives will be coming to a close. That probably seems pretty scary, definitely is to me, but I'm going to tell you exactly why we shouldn't be afraid. To say that our experience in school has been a roller coaster is an understatement. We've had little bumps in the track, the 2012 flood, my Glenbow folk will remember the bear in the field that we had to go into lockdown for, and of course, the ever-present unpredictable monster that is Alberta's weather. But let's be honest here. All of this pales when we consider what's happened in the past 3 years of high school. I'm not even going to talk about it. Not a single person in this room wants to hear me say unprecedented one more time. I will say, I never thought we'd be upset about a 2-week break turning into 6 months of online school. But here we are. I'm not going to focus on the negatives today. It's a celebration of all of us, and I want to remind us of what we've proven to ourselves and to everyone around us. Our grade is special. We know it, the teachers notice it, and it's the fact that we're such an interconnected group of people. There's no stereotypical high school cliques, but rather know that almost every person in this room has a connection to everyone in our grad class. There's football players in performing arts, there's soccer players in leadership, there's band students in every sport imaginable, and academic students are often athletic students, except for me. And by some miracle, myself, the biggest nerd in the school, ended up dating Elsa. We're such an interconnected group, and it makes us so strong. And it's the reason we've been able to overcome such an incredible amount of adversity. We are one massive support network. Somebody struggling in a class, be it online or in person, pretty much everybody is willing to lend a helping hand. Having a rough day, people that you don't usually interact with will come up and check in with you. This connection is also why our grade has so much fun together in events like Halloween Havoc, Reindeer Tag, March Madness. We all remember Mr. Goss's insane moves in Reindeer Tag, having to watch your back 24/7 before Christmas, or that disgusting Happy Meal smoothie in Havoc. We're willing to be a little vulnerable in each other, get loud, and get supportive. There's a quote I love, and yeah, it's a Disney one again. You've all seen my masks. Grab a hold of your dreams and make them come true, for you are the key to unlocking your own magic. There's always magic around us, whether it be in friendship, sports, or extracurriculars. We've unlocked that magic throughout high school. Now it's our time to grab a hold of our dreams and with the next chapter of our lives, write our own stories, one that will hopefully be full of even more magic. This journey has been amazing, and I'm beyond grateful to have shared it with every one of you. Thank you for the fun, the support, and the memories. I know we're all going on separate journeys, and some of us seem to be writing teenage romance, steampunk, or even fantasy novels with our lives. But whatever way your story takes you, we'll always be stronger together. Special thank you to Autumn Carr, Riley Montgomery, and Megan Crossland for letting me share some of their messages from their valedictorian speeches. And for the record, the book idea was Megan's. And thanks to all of our teachers for being our editors, and parents for being co-authors in our stories so far. What our grade has is so special, I don't believe it will ever fade. Till next time.
Awesome, Toby. Thanks for doing that, and really a fantastic representative of this grad class. So finally, folks, we're going to start to get to some of the things that we're excited about that we were practicing this morning, the moment that we're all been waiting for. So in a moment, we're going to get our diplomas. Students, you're going to watch from a signal from your ushers, Mrs. Templeman and Mr. Lucas. They're going to kind of cue you as we go here. Now, grads, this is the skills testing stuff. This is what really will determine if we graduate or not. Not those diplomas next week, but what's coming up here, okay? So you need to listen carefully. I had most of you get all your tassels on the right-hand side. And so what's going to happen, they're going to guide and direct you over here. You're going to come across the stage. There'll be some people coaching you and cueing you. You're going to have a photo with Mr. Riley. And then at that point, they'll take the tassel from the right and put it to the left, okay? That's the sign, the official recognition that a student has become a graduate. It's kind of like a Hogwarts spell that all of a sudden, boom, you graduate, and we'll go from there, okay? Now don't worry, we'll coach you along the way in case we make some steps along the way which we struggle with. At this time, though, I would like to ask Bow Valley's top assistant principal, Mrs. Elliott, to come to the stage, and someone I'm fortunate to call mentor. And she's going to do and read the names of the graduates. We figured me reading the names of the graduates and talking was just a bit too much Thompson. Come on up, Mrs. Elliott. You're on up. Let's give Mrs. Elliott a round of applause. The boss is the boss. Parents, I know you want to have photos and that sort of thing. You can kind of see this very subtle contraption over here. Life Touch will take an official photo for each of the grads as they receive their diploma, and you and they will receive them later on free of charge. So there's no need to rush the stage like Mrs. Elliott at the Arkells concert. You can just hang out there. Graduates, please remember to pause long enough for the photo. You've been waiting a long time to get this done. Ms. Templeman and Mr. Lucas, would you get us started, please? And I'll get you a water.
Amazing, thanks.
This is Megan's. I'll take it out.
Okay.
That's yours.
Amazing. All right, here we go. Matthew Ackroyd. Mackenzie Anderson. Sophia Anderson. Evelyn Archibald. Lucas Arndt. Aiden Arsenault. Picture. Xavier Abe. Natalie Beretta Warringer. Madeline Beaulieu.
Ryan Belsner. Mark Bennett. Nolan Benoit. Rial Bilodeau. Sarah Bishop. Clayton Blondeau. Caleb Blau. Michael Blido. Zoe Boisvert. Derek Boot. Lily Booth. Alfredo Bracamonte. Aiden Bradbury. Sophia Browse. Sam Bryan.
Oh, fix your that.
Amelia Bruins. Hannah Bujold. Autumn Carr. Nathaniel Carter. Toby Carter. Rory Chapman. Dakota Kopp. Jaden Cowie. Carly Crone. Megan Crossland. Sarah Crossland. Anna Dangerfield. Sean Davies. Sydney Davis. Paige DeVos. Marley DeCastri. Jonathan Dickinson. Julia Dingwall. Mackenzie Donald. Ashton Dezarek. Take two. Nevaeh Eckert. Mercedes Emil. Logan Enders. Kyle Angelich. Guy Farrell. Peyton Farrow. Isabella Fouth. Mizael Fenner. Brooklyn Ferguson. Hayden Fuchek. Tavian Friesen. Joshua Gagnon. Hayden Gallant. Kiana Gehring. Annika Gaudette. Sage Gaudry. Tanner Jahardi. Scotty Gilbert. Fiona Goodman. Aiden Green. Jonathan Greenwood. Morgan Groves. Aiden Harding. Jacob Hasiuk. Antonio Heyer. Ethan Huser. Haley Hebert. Jessica Hill. Caitlin Hunter. Poppy Hyde. Brent Ingard. Colton Jaworski. Shay Jeffries. Tim Johnson. Katarina Johnston. Trinity Jones. Nathan Junker. Drea Cadlick. Taylor Kellick. Olivia Kitson. Carter Cush. Jonathan LaBelle. We'd like to welcome Bearspaw First Nation Council member Anthony Bearspaw to the stage for Jonathan.
Hello everyone, I'm Boston Noise. To give no good day and congratulations, and hope the future is good for you and be successful on your goals, and thank you. Wastino isnisepeno aktu hongogichi nagambane dangin labuwan misne neno ahido ne na yotabiga da ne dagu inkum natte chao dangin nap chawan give isnisepeno. Thank you, Cochrane. Thank you, Bow Valley, for allowing our kids to go to your school and pass down, graduating them, educating them. Thank you for all that. And we, as the community of Minithni, thank you. And I'm going to present him Eagle Feather to congratulate him, and may his journey keep going, because the Eagle Feather represents life for us. So thank you.
Elise Livertu. Sam Lawrence. Gracie Leclerc Lorenz. Emma Lee. Gavin Lee. Cade Legg. Troy Lester Oliver. Arden Lowe. Evan McDonald. Musashi McKay. Cole McCoskey. Ashley Madriaga. Ethan Maisonneuve. Melanie Manoas. Braylon Mann. Tyson Mann. Lucas Martins. Lane Martin. Jamie Martin. Jake Maines. Logan Mayak. Carter McCaw. Sebastian McClure. Chloe McAvoy. Zach Moline. Ella Mitchell. Jace Moffett. Summer Monahan. Riley Montgomery. Jazreel Monzaga. Ryan Moore. Thomas Morrison. Taylor Morrow. Zach Mullen. McKenna Meitifer. Joey Nadeau. AJ Neal. Stephen Nelson. Haley Ness. Savea Noland. O'Donnell. Drake Orr. Kyron Palmer. Johart Pasqua. Gabriel Pereira. Gabriel Pearson. Cooper Pauley. Sophia Crease. Aileen Ramos. Zoe Ranger. Daniela Rivera Lara. Gavin Roper. Liam Rose. Adriana Rosso. Claire Salcedo. Aiden Schumlich. Mandolin Schwint. Caleb Severance. Ethan Seward. Theodore Simon. Layla Snow. Natalie Sabokin. Courtney Spouse. Ty Stafford. Abigail Stark. Piper Stevenson. Connor Stewart. Alex Stoico. Adam Swan. Trisha May Tagiam. Clover Taggart. Alex Therian. Austin Thomas. Dallas Thomas. Kaylee Thomas. Grace Tenoy. Lucy Toombs. Josh Townsend. Just kidding, Liam Townsend. Josh Townsend. Sarah Trahan. Jazzy Eileen Trimming. Kyle Viant. Chris Vansicle. James Vlietstra. Leah Wagner. Paris Walsh. Kesa Werner. Joseph Weston. Paige White. Emily Weeb. Tristan Weeb. Ella Wilcox. Jaden Williams. Carissa Wright. Joshua Wuthridge. That's it. Mr. Thompson, it's all yours.
All right, one big round of applause for our 2022 graduates, please. Awesome. All right, that came off with only a couple of hitches. That was good. In a moment here, we're going to do a recessional, which is when you leave, and we are going to go through the process there. List in your program. So you've all worked extremely hard to make it to this day and to be successful. So a couple we want to acknowledge before we kind of run away here. One is the grad committee, and all their names are listed in the program, but I want to particularly highlight Mrs. Hansford, Mrs. Litchke, Mrs. Grant, and Mrs. Holiday. They have done incredible work and have worked hundreds of hours. Round of applause for them, please. And also thank you to Mrs. Stark, who keeps me organized and tells me where to stand and where not to stand. So that's very, very helpful. So what I get to do now is both the best part of being the Master of Ceremonies and the most challenging part. Best because I get to have the last word. Challenging because you've been such a great class, and we want to honor you one more time before we leave here today. And I would like to acknowledge publicly, I know it's been said, but one more time, how proud we are of you today and what you've actually accomplished. You've been living the embodiment of your grad quote. You have fought for what makes you optimistic about the world. You've insisted on it. You've dug into it. You've gone after it in so many different ways. Your high school experience has not been easy. Many of you have had significant mental health challenges. Parents have lost jobs, or some of you have even lost loved ones, while others, family members, have been alienated over the last couple of years. Yet every day you came to school, and you fought for this day, and that is worthy of our respect. Even if you haven't had tragedy in your life, your high school experience has been difficult, and actually graduating is a real milestone. And there's several of you here that's exciting this year, that you're the first people in your family to ever graduate from high school. That is awesome. Some of you here, there's another group of you as we celebrate it throughout the year, that you're the first people in your family to head off to university in the fall. And that is remarkable as well. And even if it's not that uniqueness, but all of you I know have had to fight and claw your way to get to this point. And some of you might say, Mr. Tom, it's a little heavy for the wrap-up grad speech. And I would say, yeah, but because it has been heavy and fraught with struggle, that we need to acknowledge the challenges that authentically that you have faced and overcome. And we need to honor that challenge, because in honoring that and overcoming the adversity is what makes the triumph all the more remarkable. And that is what sets you apart. You have been bloodied and marred in the arena of life over the last couple of years. And if we don't acknowledge that difficulty, then these celebrations can become trite, trivial, or even criticized or cynical from other people. And to kind of a bit of a riff on what Mr. Luderbach had said earlier, One of the things that sometimes gets said if we don't acknowledge how hard you've worked to get here is that people, the cynics of the world, say, you just wait till you get to the real world. And when you hear those comments as you leave this building, you can just let them slide right off. And know, and proudly know, that you have been living in the real world, and you have triumphed in the real world. When the real world was isolating, you sought connection. There's a whole bunch of you that conducted online Zoom sessions for future Bobcats from our feeder schools, for kids who were struggling and desperate for a friendly face. And you provided that because you knew how important it was. When the world was hoarding supplies and hunkering down, you came out and you were generous. And you raised thousands and thousands of pounds of food and thousands of dollars for Cochrane families in need, because that's who you are. When others were online trolling and spewing mistrust, you sent messages of hope by writing hundreds of letters and cards to shut-ins in our community and encouraging messages for our first responders. When others were preaching fear, you were purveyors of hope. And you created magic this year by hosting our kindergarten kids. That was phenomenal. Today's world is polarized. We have a world of black and white and left and right and us and them, with each side trying to outshout and shout over top of the other ones. But instead, graduates of 2022, you whispered, how can we do what is right and what is best for our fellow student, our family, and our community? You did that, and that's the hallmarks of this grad class. Where there was discouragement, you brought joy and laughter. And you have done all these things, and I thank you, and we thank you. You've taught us about bravery in the face of tragedy, dignity in the face of despair, compassion in the face of conflict. And you give us hope. You give me hope as an educator, that a world that is seemingly dominated right now by extremism and intolerance, war and bigotry, but that you have taken us to move one step away from that and to move a few steps closer towards rationality, peace, service, and compassion. And for that, I thank you, because you are Bow Valley. Thank you, graduates of 2022. Okay, I promise we're going to get you out of here. Some of you are getting a little antsy. So here's how this is going to work. A couple pieces of instructions for you. Parents, the grads are going to be led out, and our wonderful ushers will take them out, and then they're going to be led back in for the exciting throwing or tossing of your hats, to be followed by outside. You can hang out later on. Now, grads, be patient, okay? We all want to throw them, but we only get one shot at this, okay? Your parents have been waiting 12 years. We're going to do this, and we're going to do this right, okay? So in a moment, the ushers are going to take you out and then bring you back in on stage, and then we'll give you the cue of 1, 2, 3, and then we're all going to give them a toss, all right? Okay, our ushers, could you please guide them out for us? And you're over here. Let's make it happen. And you're over here. Let's make it happen.
Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? Do you ever feel so paper thin, like a house of cards, one blow from caving in? Do you ever feel already buried deep, 6 feet under screens, but no one seems to hear a thing? Do you know that there's still a chance for you, 'cause there's a spark in you? You just gotta ignite the light and let just on the night, like the 4th of July. 'Cause baby, you're a firework. Come on, show 'em what you work. Make 'em go, as you shoot across the sky. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, let your colors burst. Make 'em go, you're gonna leave 'em all in You don't have to feel.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through. That I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.